Hi, I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I'm the creator of the parenting system called Teaching Self-Government. And in this video, we are going to be talking about how to teach kids to respect their parents. I speak all over the world about parenting and teaching children and parents how to govern themselves. And parents come to me all the time and they say, Nicholeen, I feel like there's two things that my family needs. My children need to respect me, and I need to better respect my children. And I will say to them, you are exactly right. But what you might not understand is you respecting them and them respecting you do not look the same. In fact, those are two separate principles that involve an understanding of a family dynamic that maybe your children don't know yet. So in this video, we're going to talk about that family dynamic, about how to help the family get the relationships in a functional way so that respect is possible and will be happening all the time. We're also going to be talking about how to prepare the children to have respectful relationships and some skills they can use and that you can remember so that you can correct them when they aren't respecting you. Let's talk about what respect is. Okay, so respect actually comes from the word revere, even reverence is part of this. It means relating to another person. When you respect a person, you feel an attachment for them, an appreciation for them. You honor who they are. Then if we are not respecting each other, if parents aren't respecting children, or if children aren't respecting parents, is it safe to say that maybe we are not remembering who we are or who each other is? I suggest to you that that is true. So for years when I was teaching parenting, I would talk about different skills that people needed in order to improve their relationships and the respect in the home. And we are going to discuss some of those skills later on in this video. But there is a key principle that people do not usually think about. And after I wrote my book, which is an international bestseller, it's called Parenting a House United, people kept asking me these questions. They would say stuff like, well, I like that you have this skill in here and this way to correct them that's calm and stuff, but what if my child just doesn't care? What if they just won't be corrected because they completely disrespect me? And I would say to them, well, that's a roles issue. And in my mind, when I wrote the book, I thought everyone understood roles. I thought people knew family roles. But what I've realized is our society has not been doing a great job of sustaining and teaching the family roles. So let's talk about those roles really briefly. I'm not going to go into great detail there, but basically the role or each person's role is a self-evident truth about who they are. And if they don't live in alignment with that truth within that relationship or that group, then everything becomes dysfunctional. So if a parent behaves as a child, dysfunction. If children get the authority of parent, dysfunction. So we have to keep the relationships organized, which means parent has to stay parent, child has to stay child. Mother has to stay mother, father has to stay father. You get the idea. So what does it mean to be mother? Think of that. I'm sure you could make a list. What does it mean to be father? You've probably thought about that before. Even your children have thought about that before. But what does it mean to be a 13-year-old son? What does it mean? What is actually a 5-year-old daughter? I'm not going to tell you all the answers there because I do have a book. It's called Roles, The Secret to Family Business and Social Success. And truly, it's a fun book to read as a family, to discuss, and some of the things that that family does to strengthen their roles and to help their children understand their roles to get rid of dysfunction are really life-changing. And I don't want to ruin that for you by giving you all of that now. You can go get that there. But there is one key thing that we have to remember, and that is who's the teacher and who's the learner. So any child who is still a minor is definitely still a learner, okay? So that's one part of their role, learner. That's an identity thing. And parent is teacher. That's an identity thing. That's how it was meant to be. Learners come to two teachers. That's just the system. That's how we get children here. So if the parent doesn't teach and the learner doesn't learn, then we end up with dysfunction. The children need to understand roles, and they need to know that you are going to uphold their role by doing the teaching and uphold your role by also doing the teaching. So you are dedicated to being that teacher in their lives that helps guide them, helps them navigate, answers their questions. You have to be willing. It takes work, but it's the most rewarding work you'll ever do. In the end, it's the work you'll remember most about anything else you've done in your life. So decide to embrace that role instead of fighting against it and hoping for that teenager role when really you're not there. That's going to set everything straight so that then they will feel like they must respect. In fact, a person who does not seem confident in their own role is never respected by the people that are under them. That's just a leadership principle, and it definitely applies to our homes. You can find out so much more about roles by reading the book Roles, and you can get it at teachingselfgovernment.com. The cheapest price is on that website. Go check it out, read it, and discuss it with your family and have those conversations. So step number 1 is teaching your child what respect is and what we are respecting, which is the roles that each person has in the family. Even if we're not perfect, we have to respect those roles. And that's something that parents have historically always done in order to maintain order and to help children learn respect for authority and for their families. But what if the child still chooses not to respect the parent? What should the parent do then? Well, the parents do have a moral obligation to correct that kind of dysfunctional behavior. So parents absolutely must correct it. But before you get into correcting it, it's good for your children to know exactly what you're correcting. So in the Teaching Self-Government parenting system, we talk about skills that the children need to learn self-mastery. There are 4 basic skills that every person should know. Those are following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. Every one of these 4 basic skills that are in my parenting course are designed to keep the roles in the right place, as well as help the person focus on themselves for learning self-mastery instead of focusing on power struggling with their parent or child in order to get things their way. Pre-teaching or proactively teaching your children the skills they need for respect and success is definitely a must. Then when they don't follow the instructions, so for instance, there's 5 steps to following an instruction. You look at the person, you keep a calm face, voice, and body, you say okay or ask to disagree appropriately, which is one of those other skills, do the task immediately, and then check back. If a person does not do one of those 5 steps, they are not following instructions. So if I told my child, I need you to go do your dishes, and they rolled their eyes and walked away, even if they were going to do the dishes, I would need to correct that. Because that is not respect. And they are not following instructions because they're not keeping a calm face, voice, and body, and they didn't say okay. Also, because they were rolling their eyes, they weren't looking at me, were they? So I would need to correct them. So it's important that you've set up a system ahead of time for how you will correct your children when something goes wrong. And one of the most important parts of that correction plan that you have as a family is how it's going to feel. So how should that correction feel? It should feel calm. It should feel secure, safe, loving, pointed in the right direction. That calmness, though, is the part that is the hardest for most people. Getting that feeling that everything's okay, even if someone did something that maybe you didn't want them to do or that wasn't good self-government. When you correct them and you help them come back to a place of respect because they were disrespecting, you've got to do it with a tone of calmness. Since you have listened to this video, I have a special gift for you. It is completely free. It is called the Calm Parenting Toolkit. And if you will notice in the description below this video, there is a link to the Calm Parenting Toolkit. That link will give you access to a course course, a mini course where you can start on the road to self-government and calmness. And if you've mastered that calmness within yourself, it will take you to the next level, which is to prepare you to teach calmness to your children as well. So definitely go and click that link for the Calm Parenting Toolkit. Get started on self-government, get the tone right so that you can get the roles right, and so that everyone can master those skills that are required for respecting each other in our families and everywhere else. Click on the link below.